Today we're going to do a little video on Starlink. I'm currently running the Starlink Standard, which is for the houses, and I'm going to get rid of it and I'm going to run the Starlink Mini directly off my batteries, and just to get it off the inverter. So we'll go over all that and explain to you what the inverter does and why it's better to use the Starlink Mini. But here's where the batteries are in the settee here, or rather the galley, I mean, underneath the settee. That's where the batteries are. And Tara's doing a Richard Simmons down there, sweating to the oldies. So we'll do a little video on inverters and Starlink today. Wait.
Right now, our boat has two lithium battery banks. One is a 12 volt, 400 amp hour bank, and the other is a 24 volt, 600 amp hour bank. The 24 volt bank is primarily dedicated to running the inverter for typical 120 volt household electronics. Over time, we'll be moving all essential underway systems, things like radar, chart plotter, autopilot, GPS, single sideband, navigation lights, and VHF onto the 12 volt bank. That way, 12 volts is dedicated to getting the boat safely from point A to point B, while the 24 volt bank is reserved for creature comforts. This separation makes it much easier to manage, prioritize, and allocate electrical loads. Right now, anything we plug into a normal household outlet, Starlink, blender, juicer, microwave, hot pot, etc., is running battery to inverter to 120 volt AC and then to the device. And while that absolutely works, the bank's a strong and solid system. But efficiency really matters when you live off of batteries, and it's not the best way to do it in our opinion. An inverter is an amazing high-tech tool, but it's also a compromise. When shore power is available, the Victron Energy Inverter Charger passes AC power straight through to the boat. If the load exceeds the shore power, the inverter automatically adds power. And if there's extra available, it charges the batteries. This is a pretty impressive piece of high-tech gear.
This is where the Starlink lives. Got this radar arch. So it comes with a fancy little fishing rod holder. It's pretty nice, stainless, on Amazon. And it just goes right into a regular fishing rod holder. When you turn it, it screws in. Then I gotta get some loom for all this wire and run the wire down. And then that's how it works. There's the difference in size between the Mini and the Standard. It's almost, that's a size difference. And that's the size of my hand. It's not really a human hand, but it's a hand. And the Mini just takes the one barrel connector, and this one takes the RJ5 connector, and it comes with an external modem and a power supply. The Mini's got all that included. All you gotta do is run power to it, and hopefully it works as good, but it's more efficient. This is a DC converter. It takes the 24 volts input and puts out steady 30 volts no matter what. If I connect it directly to the battery banks, when the alternator's running or the solar or a big compressor load kicks on, the voltage will spike or drop, and this unit here will keep it at a steady 30 volts no matter what. The Starlink Standard uses about 140 watts, and the Mini uses about 40 watts. So you can see the savings. It's worth not using the inverter anytime you can. So normally this is where people, like, I guess they vlog, they film themselves while they talk, but I'll just film Tobes while I talk because I don't really like to film myself. But anyway, when you want it, most electronics will run on 12 volts. Like TVs, coffee pots, refrigerators, freezers, all that stuff can be converted to run on 12 volts. And you can eliminate the inverter. Inverters, you lose efficiency. So the cheap ones are like 83% efficient, and the Victron is the good one. It's about 94% efficient, which isn't bad, but when you're living off the batteries, all that adds up. And then you would think that when you're not using anything, they don't use power, but even at idle, with no loads on it, the inverter is using energy just to sit there and do nothing. So in my opinion, it's best to get rid of the inverter altogether and use it like a tool. I'll just turn it on when I need to use things that have to use 120 volts, and I'll turn it off all the other times, and I will get all 12-volt appliances, and that's that. It'll be more efficient that way. That's how we plan on doing things here, right, Tobes?